The massive crystal dome of the Galactic Council chamber sparkled under the light of three suns. Inside, 200 representatives from different alien species sat in rising circles, their voices mixing into a worried murmur. Something had disturbed their usual calm, and that something involved humans. Tom Gray wasn't supposed to be here. As a junior archivist, he spent most of his days sorting through old documents in the basement levels of the Council archives. But today, his hand shook as he stood before the most powerful beings in the galaxy, clutching an ancient data crystal that had changed everything. "Speak, Archivist Gray," the Council leader said. Like most of the Blue Star people, she had silvery skin that seemed to glow. "Tell everyone what you found." Gray cleared his throat. 3 days ago, while organizing the pre-Unity Laws section, I found this. He held up the crystal. It's a law from 10,000 years ago, signed by every major species at the time. It's still in effect today. He paused, looking around the chamber. It says humans are banned from all forms of galactic warfare. Forever. The chamber erupted in voices. A representative of the rock people stood up, his stone-like skin catching the light. "That's impossible. Humans only joined the galactic community 50 years ago. How can there be a law about them from 10,000 years ago?" "That's what makes this so strange," Gray said. "The law exists, but all records explaining why it was created are missing. Deleted, corrupted, or sealed away. Someone went to great trouble to hide the reason." The council leader raised her hand for silence. "This is troubling. Humanity has proven to be peaceful neighbors since first contact. They've helped solve many galactic problems with their unique way of thinking. But this law..." She turned to a tall figure sitting in the shadows. "Ambassador Reed, you're our best investigator. Will you look into this matter?" Reed stood up. He was human, which made him an unusual choice for a council investigator. But that was exactly why they had hired him. He thought differently than everyone else. "I'll need full access to all archives, including sealed records," he said. "Granted," the council leader nodded. "But be careful. If this law exists, there must be a reason someone wanted to hide." That evening, Reed sat in his office, surrounded by holographic displays showing everything known about human history. The humans themselves didn't know about this law. They had their own records of ancient history, but nothing suggesting they had met aliens before 50 years ago. "Computer," Reed said, "show me the exact wording of the law." The words appeared in front of him, glowing in the darkroom. Asterisk by unanimous agreement of all spacefaring species, humans of Earth are hereby forbidden from participating in any form of galactic warfare. This includes but is not limited to joining military forces, providing military advice, developing weapons, or being present in combat zones. This law cannot be changed without unanimous agreement of all Council species. The reason for this law is contained in Sealed File X7249. Asterisk. Reed frowned. Computer, access Sealed File X7249. Access DNID. File location unknown. He leaned back in his chair, thinking. Someone had gone to a lot of trouble to hide this information. But why? Humans weren't particularly violent compared to other species. The rock people had fought wars for centuries over poetry. The wind dancers had once tried to claim ownership of a star. His computer beeped. A message from Gray. Found something. Old star maps showing location of abandoned military bases from that time period. Most are destroyed, but one might still exist. It's in the dead zone. Reed smiled. The dead zone, a region of space where ships often disappeared, where sensors didn't work right, and most people stayed away. The perfect place to hide something important. He stood up and looked out his window at the endless stars. Somewhere out there was the answer to why an entire galaxy had once feared humanity enough to ban them from warfare. And he was going to find it, even if it meant learning things about his own species that someone had decided were better left forgotten. The great archive of Capital World stretched a mile underground, its vast halls filled with the collected knowledge of 1,000 civilizations. Reed's footsteps echoed as he walked through the dimly lit corridors, following the floating blue light of the archive's AI guardian. Most records from that time period are damaged, the AI said, its voice soft and musical. But I remember. I was here when they sealed the files about humans. Reed stopped walking. You were. Why didn't you tell the council? The AI's light flickered. They didn't ask, and I'm not allowed to volunteer information about sealed records. But since you're here on official business, the AI paused. I can show you something. Follow me. They went deeper into the archive than Reed had ever been. The temperature dropped, and the walls changed from smooth metal to rough stone. This was the oldest part of the archive, where they kept records too dangerous or important to trust to computer systems. Here, the AI said, stopping at a heavy door. This is the War Records Chamber. The last remaining pieces of evidence about the last war are inside. The door opened with a hiss of ancient machinery. Inside, Reed found rows of crystal tablets covered in dust. He picked one up and cleaned it carefully. Words appeared in the air above it. Asterisk Day 89 of the Spiral Arm conflict. The humans have done it again. We gave them outdated ships, thinking they couldn't be effective. They stripped them down and rebuilt them in ways our engineers say should be impossible. When the pirates attacked their colony, the human ships moved in ways we've never seen. They won the battle without firing a single shot. They just used the gravity of a nearby moon to pull the pirates into a crash course with each other. Asterisk. Reed moved to another tablet. Asterisk. The humans are learning too fast. We showed them our standard weapons yesterday. Today they suggested 37 improvements. When we said one improvement was impossible, they built a working prototype in their sleep pod using spare parts from their food processor. Asterisk. Stop, a voice said from the doorway. Reed turned to see Gray standing there, looking worried. You need to see this first. The young archivist held up another crystal, this one glowing red. I found it hidden inside a maintenance robot. It's a personal log from someone called the High Commander. Reed took the crystal and placed it in a reader. A hologram appeared, a tall, insect-like alien wearing elaborate armor. The alien looked tired, maybe even scared. Asterisk. This must be recorded before we erase everything else. Asterisk, the High Commander said. Asterisk. The humans. We thought warfare was about having the best weapons. They showed us it's about seeing weapons in everything. They don't think like us. Where we see a mining laser, they see 50 ways to turn it into something that could destroy a planet. Asterisk. Asterisk yesterday, they walked into a garden and pointed out how every single plant could be used as a weapon. They weren't trying to be threatening. That's just how their minds work. They see patterns we don't. They adapt faster than any species we've ever met. And they share their ideas freely, not realizing how dangerous that knowledge is. Asterisk. Asterisk, the council vote was unanimous. The humans must be banned from warfare. Not because they're evil. They're actually quite friendly. But their ability to turn anything into a weapon, to see military potential in everyday objects, it's too dangerous. Future generations may not understand this decision, but they don't need to. They just need to obey it. Asterisk. The hologram flickered out. Reed and Gray stood in silence for a moment. There's more, Gray said quietly. I traced the path of the human battle fleet from the last war. Most bases were destroyed, but one survived. It's in the dead zone, just like we thought. And there's something else. He hesitated. The base's last transmission mentioned something called Project Mirror. They said it would change warfare forever. Reed looked at the crystal tablets around them, each holding pieces of a story about his species that he never knew. Then that's where we're going, he said. We need to find that base. The AI's light dimmed slightly. Be careful, it warned. Some knowledge is sealed away for good reasons. Are you sure you want to learn why the galaxy once feared humanity so much? Reed nodded. The Council needs to know the truth, especially now, with war brewing on the outer edges of space. We need to know if this law is protecting humanity from the galaxy, or protecting the galaxy from humanity. The planet Haven was beautiful, its pink clouds floating over endless fields of silver grass. But Reed wasn't here for the view. He and Gray had tracked down one of the last living veterans of the last war, Admiral Stone of the Crystal People. The old Admiral's home sat on top of a hill, its walls made of living crystal that changed color with the sun. A robot guard stopped them at the gate. "Admiral Stone doesn't want visitors," the robot said. "Tell him it's about the humans," Reed replied. "About the last war." The robot went still for a moment. Then the gate opened. They found Admiral Stone in his garden. Like all crystal people, his body was semi-transparent, but age had made him cloudy, with cracks running through his form. He sat in a floating chair, staring at the horizon. 10,000 years, Stone said without turning around. 10,000 years of peace, and now you come asking about them. His voice sounded like breaking glass. "Why?" Reed explained about finding the law and their investigation. Stone listened without moving. "I was young then," Stone finally said. "Commanded a fleet of 1,000 ships. Thought I knew everything about warfare." He laughed, a sharp, painful sound. "Then we met the humans." Stone's body flickered with old memories. "We didn't understand at first. They had such simple ships, such basic weapons. We thought they were primitive. Then came the Battle of Three Suns." "What happened there?" Gray asked quietly. "We were fighting the swarm, evil beings that ate whole planets. Our best weapons couldn't stop them. The humans asked to help. We gave them our smallest ships, mostly to be polite. Stone's voice cracked. They took those ships apart, rebuilt them in 2 days. Added things we never imagined, used the Three Suns themselves as weapons." Stone turned his chair around, his crystalline eyes fixed on Reed. "Do you know what your people did? They worked out how to use the gravity of those suns to create a trap, turned the swarm's own movement against them, destroyed them without firing a single shot. It was beautiful and terrifying." "But that was good, wasn't it?" Gray asked. "They helped defeat the swarm." "That was just the beginning," Stone whispered. "Afterward, they started looking at everything differently. They showed us how to turn mining tools into planet crackers, how to use communication beams as weapons. Every human ship became a laboratory of new ways to fight." Stone's chair moved closer to them. "But the worst part, the thing that scared us most, they were so happy about it. Not about fighting, about creating. They treated war like a puzzle to solve, like a game where they could try new ideas. They didn't see how frightening that was to the rest of us." "What about Project Mirror?" Reed asked. Stone's whole body went dark. "Where did you hear that name?" "From records about a base in the dead zone." "Stay away from there," Stone said sharply. "Project Mirror was their masterpiece, the thing that proved they had to be stopped. It showed us what humanity could really do if they put their minds to warfare." He turned away again. "Leave. I've said too much already." "Just one more question," Reed said. "Was the ban really about protecting the galaxy from humans?" Stone was quiet for a long time. "No," he finally said. "It was about protecting the galaxy from itself. Because once the humans showed us what was possible, every species wanted that power. Their ideas were like a virus, spreading through the galaxy, making everyone see weapons everywhere they looked. We had to stop it, had to seal away that knowledge before it destroyed us all." As Reed and Gray walked back to their ship, Gray asked, "Are we really going to that base in the dead zone?" Reed looked up at the stars appearing in the darkening sky. "We have to. The Council needs to understand. Knowledge can't stay buried forever." He paused. "But first, we need to visit Earth. I want to understand how my people think about war now, how we see the universe. Behind them, Admiral Stone watched them leave. His crystalline body shimmered with colors of fear. He remembered how it felt, watching humans turn his understanding of warfare upside down. Remembered the day they revealed Project Mirror, and he wondered if some knowledge really should stay buried forever. Earth looked peaceful from orbit, its blue oceans and white clouds hiding the complex history below. Reed's ship landed at the Global Military Museum in what was once called Washington, D.C. Gray stared in wonder at the ancient weapons on display as they walked through the halls. "I don't understand," Gray said, pointing at a simple wooden stick behind glass. "Why is this here? It's just a piece of wood." Reed read the display label. "That's a spear, one of humanity's first weapons. We took a tree branch and made it sharp. Simple, but it changed everything." He walked to the next display. "Look at these, rocks tied to sticks, bent wood with string to make bows. Humans have always been good at turning simple things into weapons." They moved through the museum's time periods: swords, guns, tanks, planes. Each invention showed how humans took basic ideas and made them more effective. But it was the modern section that really caught Gray's attention. "These are farming machines," Gray said, confused. He pointed at pictures of tractors and harvesters. "Why are they in a military museum?" An old man in a museum uniform approached them. "Because of the Mars Rebellion," he said. "When Earth lost contact with the Mars colony 80 years ago, pirates had destroyed all their weapons. But the colonists had farming equipment. Within days, they turned their tractors into tanks, their mining drills into weapons. They won their freedom using tools meant to grow food and dig holes." Reed nodded. "That's why I wanted to come here. Humans don't just use weapons. We see the potential for them everywhere." He turned to the old man. "We're doing research about human military thinking. Could you tell us more?" The man's eyes lit up. "Oh, you should see our special exhibit. We just opened it last month." He led them to a large room filled with everyday objects. Each item had a screen next to it, showing how it could become dangerous. "This is our Everyday Innovations exhibit," the man explained. "It shows how regular people have turned normal things into tools of survival. Like this umbrella. In 2040, someone used it to make a shield that could stop bullets. Or this coffee maker. Someone rebuilt it into a small engine during a crisis." Gray moved from display to display, his face showing growing understanding. This is what Admiral Stone meant. Humans don't just use weapons, they create them from anything available. Reed stopped at a display showing children's toys. "Is this why there's a law against humans in galactic warfare? Not because we're violent, but because we're too good at turning everything into a weapon." The old man looked surprised. "There's a law about that? Interesting. You know, we have an old saying, necessity is the mother of invention. When humans need to solve a problem, we get very creative. Sometimes that creativity can be scary to others." They spent hours in the museum, studying how humans had repeatedly turned seemingly harmless things into powerful tools of war. It wasn't about violence. It was about survival, adaptation, and seeing possibilities that others missed. As they left, Gray asked, "Does this change our mission? Should we really find that base in the dead zone?" Reed watched a group of children playing outside the museum, using sticks as pretend swords. "We need to know the whole truth. Project Mirror must have been something extraordinary to make the galaxy fear human creativity so much. But what if the old admiral was right?" Gray looked worried. "What if some knowledge is too dangerous?" Reed smiled. "Knowledge isn't dangerous. It's how you use it. Humans can turn anything into a weapon, yes. But we can also turn anything into a tool for peace. That's what the galaxy needs to understand about us." Their ship lifted off as the sun set, heading toward the dead zone. Behind them, Earth's lights twinkled like stars, each one representing millions of humans, all looking at the universe and seeing possibilities that no one else could imagine. For better or worse, the dead zone lived up to its name. No stars shone here. They were all hidden behind thick clouds of dark dust. Reed's ship moved slowly, its sensors nearly useless in the strange radiation that filled this region of space. There, Gray pointed at a small screen. That asteroid looks artificial. As they got closer, they saw he was right. What looked like a normal space rock was actually a hidden base, disguised to blend in with the surrounding asteroids. They found a landing bay hidden under a layer of fake rock. "The air's still breathable," Reed said, checking his instruments. "The base's systems must still be working after all these years." They stepped out of their ship, lights from their suits cutting through the darkness. The landing bay was huge, big enough for 50 ships, but empty except for dust and shadows. "Look at these marks on the floor," Gray said, pointing his light down. "Something big was dragged through here. Recently." Reed froze. "Recently? This base is supposed to be abandoned." They followed the marks to a massive door. Next to it was a hand scanner. Reed placed his hand on it, and to their surprise, it lit up green. The door opened with a hiss. "It recognized you as human," Gray said. "The base's systems must be programmed to let humans in." Inside, they found laboratories filled with strange machines. But these weren't normal weapons. They were everyday objects modified in ways that defied understanding. "This looks like a regular food processor," Gray said, examining one device. "But according to these notes, they modified it too. This can't be right. They made it create micro-black holes." Reed moved to another table. "Here's a children's toy. One of those puzzles where you match shapes. But they turned it into a device that could reshape matter at the atomic level." He picked up a data pad. They weren't building new weapons. They were proving that anything could become a weapon if you looked at it the right way. Deeper in the base, they found more examples. Gardening tools modified to control gravity, musical instruments that could disrupt enemy ships, even simple boxes of crayons turned into devices that could bend light and create perfect camouflage. "This is incredible," Gray whispered. "Terrifying, but incredible. Your people did all this in just a few years." "That's why they feared us," Reed realized. "Not because we built superweapons, but because we could turn anything into a weapon so quickly. We didn't think like other species. Where they saw limits, we saw possibilities." They reached a door marked Project Mirror. Inside was a single room with a simple mirror on the wall. "This is it." Gray looked disappointed. "This is what scared Admiral Stone so much." Reed approached the mirror carefully. "Wait. Look at the description." He read from a nearby screen. "Project Mirror, Final Stage. The ultimate adaptation of human military thinking. When activated, it analyzes any weapon used against it and instantly creates a perfect counterweapon using available materials." Gray stepped back. "You mean?" "Yes. They built a machine that could do what humans do naturally. Look at something and figure out how to turn it into a weapon. But this could do it instantly, and with anything." Reed touched the mirror's surface. "Imagine this technology spreading across the galaxy. Every species would gain humanity's gift for turning everyday objects into weapons. The entire galaxy would become one endless arms race." Suddenly, lights began flashing throughout the base. A computerized voice spoke. "Warning. Intruder alert. Secondary teams have entered the facility." Reed and Gray looked at each other in alarm. They weren't alone in the base anymore. Someone else had found this place. Someone who wanted humanity's most dangerous secrets. "We need to get out of here," Reed said. "And we need to warn the Council. Now we know why humans were banned from warfare. The question is, what do we do with this knowledge?" Behind them, the mirror began to glow, as if awakening after 10,000 years of sleep. The Galactic Council chamber was silent as Reed and Gray finished showing their evidence. The images of modified everyday objects, the ancient records, and finally, Project Mirror, floated in the air for all to see. "So now we know," the council leader said quietly. "The ban wasn't about human violence. It was about human creativity." Reed nodded. "But there's more. When we were in the facility, others broke in. We managed to escape, but not before we saw who they were. He pressed a button, showing images of the intruders. Pirates. They're after the human technology. They want Project Mirror. Worried whispers filled the chamber. A representative of the rock people stood up. If pirates get this technology, they could turn anything into a weapon. Even our strongest defenses wouldn't stop them. That's not the worst part, Gray added. The facility's computer showed that the pirates had already downloaded part of the database. They're learning how humans think about weapons. The chamber erupted in panic. Different species started arguing about what to do. Some wanted to destroy the facility. Others wanted to use the weapons themselves. The noise grew louder and louder until the council leader raised her hand for silence. Ambassador Reed, she said, "You're human. What do you think we should do?" Reed looked around the chamber. "First, let me show you something else we found." Computer, play the final entry from the facility's log. A new hologram appeared, a human scientist from 10,000 years ago. She looked tired but proud. "Project Mirror is complete," the scientist said, "but we've decided to shut it down. Not because it doesn't work. It works too well. We created it to protect ourselves. But we realized something important. The ability to turn anything into a weapon isn't what makes humans special. What makes us special is knowing when not to." The hologram continued, "We're accepting the ban on human warfare. Not because we're afraid, but because we understand. The galaxy isn't ready for our way of thinking. Maybe it never will be. But we'll keep our gift for innovation and use it for peace instead." The hologram faded. Reed spoke again. "The pirates who broke in don't understand what they stole. They have our techniques, but not our wisdom. Not our understanding of when to use them and when to stop. The facility's defenses are failing," Gray added. "Anyone could get in now. We need to decide quickly what to do." The council leader looked troubled. "What are our options?" "We could destroy it," a military advisor suggested. "No," Reed said. "The knowledge would still exist. The pirates already have part of it. We need a better solution." He paused. "We need to share it." Everyone stared at him. "Share it?" someone asked in disbelief. "Not the weapons," Reed explained. "The wisdom. The understanding. Let humans teach other species not just how we think, but why we choose not to use these abilities for war. Let us show you how to see the universe's possibilities, not just for weapons, but for peace." The council chamber went quiet as they considered this idea. Finally, the council leader spoke. "The law banning humans from warfare was created out of fear, but perhaps it's time for it to exist out of respect instead. All in favor of keeping the ban, but allowing humans to teach their wisdom under careful supervision." Hands and tentacles and wings rose across the chamber. The vote was unanimous. "There's still the matter of the pirates," Gray reminded them. "They're probably studying what they stole right now." Reed smiled. "True, but they stole an incomplete database. They don't know the most important thing we discovered in that facility." He looked around the chamber. "They don't know about the failsafe we built into Project Mirror. A failsafe that only activates when someone tries to use our technology for the wrong reasons." The council leader leaned forward. "What happens then?" "That," Reed said, "is what we're about to find out." 3 days after the council meeting, the pirates made their move. They attacked a civilian space station using weapons they'd created from everyday items, just as the humans had done thousands of years ago. But something strange happened. Every weapon they created suddenly stopped working. Their ships, modified with stolen human technology, shut down. The pirates found themselves drifting helplessly in space, where the Council's peacekeeping forces easily captured them. In the council chamber, Reed explained what had happened. "The failsafe worked perfectly," he said, showing holographic images of the failed pirate attack. "You see, Project Mirror wasn't just about turning anything into a weapon. It was about understanding the responsibility that comes with that power." Gray stepped forward, holding up a small crystal. We found this in the facility. It's the core program of Project Mirror. The ancient humans built in a simple but brilliant safeguard. Their technology only works if you're using it to protect, never to attack. The council leader looked impressed. Your ancestors were wiser than we thought. They understood something important, Reed said. The same creativity that lets humans turn anything into a weapon also lets us turn anything into a tool for peace. That's what the pirates didn't understand. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the chamber. On the main screen, reports showed trouble at the edges of council space. The aggressive Flame Empire, a species that lived in stars, was expanding again, burning inhabited worlds. The council leader looked at Reed. The law says humans can't fight in galactic wars. But we need your wisdom now more than ever. Will you help us? Reed smiled. Actually, I have an idea about that. Computer, show the council what we found in the facility's peaceful technology section. New holograms appeared, showing amazing devices, shields made from modified kitchen appliances, evacuation systems built from toys, emergency shelters created from ordinary furniture. All tools for saving lives, not taking them. We don't need to fight the Flame Empire, Reed explained. We just need to protect people from them. And humans are very, very good at turning simple things into protection. Over the next few months, human advisors taught other species how to think creatively about defense. They showed them how to turn ordinary objects into shields, how to modify simple machines to rescue people from danger, how to use human creativity to save lives instead of take them. The Flame Empire's expansion stopped. They couldn't harm worlds protected by human ingenuity. But more importantly, the galaxy learned something new about humanity. In the facility's main hall, now turned into a school for creative thinking, Reed watched species from across the galaxy learn together. Gray stood beside him, reading from an old datapad. The ban on human warfare will stay, Gray said, but the council has added something new to it. Now it says, humans are forever forbidden from galactic warfare, not as a punishment, but as a recognition of their greater purpose, to teach the galaxy how to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, not for war, but for peace. Reed watched a young alien student excitedly show how she'd turned her lunchbox into a miniature emergency shelter. You know what's funny? He said. 10,000 years ago, the galaxy feared human creativity because they only saw how we could use it for weapons. They never imagined how we could use it to protect. What about Project Mirror? Gray asked. The facility is still out there. Reed nodded. Yes, but now it serves a new purpose. It reminds us that the most powerful weapon humans have isn't our ability to turn anything into a tool for war. It's our ability to choose not to. As they walked out, Reed saw Admiral Stone waiting in the doorway, his crystalline form glowing with new colors. You were right, the old admiral said. Some knowledge shouldn't stay buried. It just needs to be understood properly. He looked at the students learning human creativity. For the first time in 10,000 years, I'm not afraid of human innovation anymore. I'm excited to see what you'll teach us next. The end.